Hello, flat earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Sitting outside my house here in Phuket, waiting for the first of the monsoon rains. Yesterday was the hottest day of the year, Thai New Year, Songkran Festival, and as predicted, the rains will now come. They come on schedule every year. So climate change isn't anything more than the words suggest in their most simplest form, that the climate changes. As far as I can tell, from all the years I've been living here, it's always been the same. It's been a very, very humid day, very oppressive heat all day, and you just know that the storm is coming when it gets like that. And as you can see from the lightning and hear from the thunder, it's on its way. And it'd be nice if I can catch it as it breaks here, because then you will see how massive these downpours are here at the tropics. But it is, kind of makes me think about some of these ridiculous arguments that people defending the globe have. I mean, often refer to things like seasonal change, etc., as some kind of proof that we live on a spinning globe going around the sun. Even after it's been explained that we just interpret these annual observations and events in one of many possible ways. But we are told that it's scientific to simply believe that seasonal changes, the position of the sun throughout the year, is because the Earth is spinning and rotating and orbiting and tilting without any kind of measurable proof whatsoever. Just predictable observations that have nothing to do with any model. It's just the way things are. As I said, it's been very, very dry for many months, which is normal. And then the rains come, replenish everything. The water flows. The reservoirs fill up again. The plants that have been hanging on for dear life flourish again. And as in a video I showed recently, when there was a very short spell of rain, kind of an odd shower, nothing like this, the frogs come out, etc. Well, the wind is picking up slightly at the moment, and then the lightning is getting a bit more frequent. There are a few specks of rain, but when it rains here, it certainly does pour. And it has nothing to do with the idea that we're on a globe. Absolutely nothing. Of course, all the animals and all the plants instinctively know about the seasonal changes, not just here, but everywhere. Birds migrate from one place to another depending on the season. They build nests at the right times and things like that. Here there are, eels and things that live in the fields, but then when it gets when the rain, well, when the water dries up, they bury themselves in the ground, same as the frogs and the toads, and they hibernate, they wait it out, same as bears in Canada or whatever. And you know, what is that if it's not some kind of programming? You know, you can argue about evolution or what have you if you like, but there's nothing to back that up, and there's just an assumption that this had to be somehow learned by a species that existed, or species that existed without this inherent knowledge within them for a certain period of time, millions of years before they somehow adapted, or it was ingrained in their DNA. So that, you know, but this is the thing, you see, and people are the same in that respect, aren't they? You know, people are like animals, so we can be programmed. And that's what we are programmed with. We are programmed with beliefs. And we see people trying to defend what they call science of the globe, science of champion science. People looking into flat Earth are being scientific because they are challenging the normal preconceptions that we have been taught to have about where we are and this place, wherever it is in the universe, how we got here and all that. But what do you see among these people defending the globe? You see these desperate attempts to reinforce the belief with hearsay, with repetition of gospel-like rhetoric introduced to us through the mainstream, through education, without any real science, or what is passed off as science doesn't congeal as a true representation of what this place is. But they seem desperate to prevent people from looking into flat Earth. If you had truth on your side, Globers, you wouldn't have to say anything. You could just say, yeah, go ahead, investigate, find out for yourself. But that's what the flat earthers are telling you. They say, go and research it. Sure, there are some people telling you that it's this way, it's that way. There are domes and ice walls, etc. That's not me, and that doesn't apply to many other proponents of flat Earth, which, to be honest, is becoming a phrase I'd rather not have to use these days, because it does have so many connotations, and it does bring about so many preconceived images in people's minds. Again, part of the programming that prevents people from even contemplating the idea that we're not on a globe. So perhaps it must be made clear that, you know, flat Earth doesn't represent any particular model. It just represents the obvious, and what has been shown and demonstrated so far by all the experiments throughout history, that there is no movement of the Earth, there is no measurable curvature of the Earth, and there is no force pulling us towards the center of the alleged spherical Earth. None of that. And if you look into the fundamental so-called proofs of the globe, Earth, belief, they are very scant. And they are just assumptions and interpretations from observations. But you will have people sticking to these interpretations as if they are gospel. Yet at the same time, they will accuse the flat earthers of being religious zealots, believing in a particular creator of sorts, when really the whole mission here, the whole path, the whole walk, is to abandon any form of belief. A bit more rain coming now, so I've got to stay in the shade. Yeah, that's the whole thing. So on my personal part, as what you might call a flat earther, there is no, I'm not trying to give alternative answers. I don't know what the sun is. I don't know where it is, how far away it is, or the moon, or any of that up there. I don't know what the stars are. But I do know for sure that perspective, the way we see things, has been translated and converted into an imaginary curve. And everything else has been assumed and calculated based on a spherical Earth model. By simply converting the geometry of the way we see things into an imaginary curve. That's it. And of course, the application of proper scientific inquiry, not having a preconceived hypothesis or model in mind that must be set out to be proven. Because all you have to, there are so many people that have done experiments to investigate the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is that we can see further than we should be able to, given the dimensions of the spherical Earth we are said to be on. And really, there's nothing else that can. There's nothing. There is no scientific method or proof or measurement that can in any way justify the idea that we're on a spinning globe going around the sun. There isn't. Nothing. Yet we have these proponents of the globe making accusations and assumptions about people who realize we're not on a spinning ball. And it doesn't matter how many times you try to tell these people that we're not talking about alternative ideas. They can't, but I don't know. They can't let go. They can't just keep coming up with these observations that they choose to interpret as reinforcing their belief they live on a globe. Now, again, you know, there's no animosity, there's no ill will towards people who quite innocently, just like the rest of us, believe we live on a globe because that's what we've been shown with imagery all our lives. But I do get triggered when people try to defend this globe Earth belief with what they call science, but can't even make that discernment between true scientific inquiry, because anyone who is truly scientific will arrive at this understanding that nothing has ever been proven. Nothing, ever. Well, anyway, I'm going to try and keep on blabbing while we wait for these rains. It's coming down a bit heavier now, but I was hoping it would have come crashing down by now. Getting a nice little breeze now. As I said, it's been very still and humid all day. But yeah, it's so there is I've said it before, I don't want to kind of repeat myself and become boring, but you know, something like intelligent design or just again the seasons, the way it all works, the way everything works out, the way life exists here. It's obviously not by chance, and it's not by accident. And frankly, it's impossible to have life forms that just come about without some kind of intelligence within them. And so, yeah, you know, studying the whole flat Earth, globe Earth thing does encompass all the sciences. Physics, biology, metaphysics, formal sciences, mathematics. I mean, you really have to look at everything, and it, without wanting to sound pompous, you really do need to have quite a balanced approach. You know, you can't be too left-brained or right-brained about the whole thing. You do have to be aware of how beliefs are formed. You have to be aware of how we react. You have to be aware of emotions. You have to be aware of all those things that happen regardless of our emotions. The whole thing. And it's I hear it a lot from the globe Earth proponents who believe that the flat earther wants to feel special, wants to feel, and so you've got these people who want to perpetuate this, let's say, atheistic belief. I don't like using that word either because it is a belief to assume that there is, you know, no creator, no God per se, or no intelligent design, really, is again an assumption which kind of allows you to abstain from responsibility. But I'm not arguing from a point of view that there is good and bad. Yet we live in a society where if you do something like murder someone, then that's considered bad, and you're going to be put away in jail if you're caught. And you're considered uncaring. I mean, you know, the point I'm trying to make here is that you have these defenders of the globe who want to defend this idea that there is no creation or creator, there's no responsibility, it's all an accident, yet they very much want to stick to the rules that we've been given by the religious institutions or by the educational institutions, by the government mind control institutions that, you know, propagate and perpetuate the globe earth belief. And when you can see it for the religion that it is among all the other religions, despite another question is why can't God create balls and many other ball earths if he's an all-knowing, omnipotent being? But I'm not advocating, personally, I'm not advocating switching from an atheistic belief in a ball earth, big bang, heliocentric theory of life, the universe and everything, to one of a creation by any particular God looking down on us. If you want to label, if you want to talk about God, it is absolutely everything that is happening. The infinite possibilities in this physical realm that has to have things like rain and thunderstorms and dry spells and cold winters and hot summers and what have you. You can't have stagnation because life doesn't exist in stagnation. You know, we've seen stagnant water that is just, you know, well, there are certain forms of life that thrive on the stagnation, but for a while, but eventually a pool of stagnant water completely dies, and it's of no use to anyone or anything. It just becomes poisonous and inert. So, you know, I mean, for life to exist and to thrive, you need this. You need we need this violence of nature that occurs. Yeah? And as sentient beings, we, in a way, have to humble ourselves to the power of nature. We have to kind of surrender to it. If we try to conquer it, then we will lose. We cannot fight these battles. We can maybe respect nature and live in harmony with it, even when it becomes violent. We just have to, you know, know our limitations against it. And yeah. Ah, daughter's woken up. I'll have to go and attend to her. I'll see if I can... If the rains come crashing down, then I'll get another shot of that. All right. Anyway, for now, thank you very much.